For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com on SoundCloud, iTunes, and a bunch of other podcast platforms. I'm already laughing. We just taped our syndicated radio shows, Top of the Charts and The Open Road, so I still have this energy and momentum going that I just know come about 3 this afternoon I'm going to crash, is what's going to happen. We're getting ahead of ourselves so that I can take most of December off, most of the holiday season off anyway, and I'll tell you about my Christmas shopping and my excitement for Christmas this year. And then also how I've been feeling really old by taking a walk down memory lane. And it all happened last weekend, so I'm going to get into the details about all this fun stuff right after this as The Scribble kicks off right now.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
JB here, back on The Scribble. So Christmas is coming. I, like most people, have not started my Christmas shopping. Now here's the deal. I don't want to say like most guys because that is sexist and you can't say that these days just because you're a guy. Here's the deal. I don't even remember to buy myself groceries half the time, and that's for my own life, my own health, my own well-being. I sit there and go, oh crap, I should have gone grocery shopping. Oh yeah, I should have gone and done this today. No, I just don't even think to do that. So Christmas shopping for other people who are not in my home, it's not on my priority list. You know, is that selfish of me? Well, it's not really selfish of me considering the fact that I haven't bought myself groceries first, right? So it's just, I think that we're all so busy. And don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely loving this whole ordering groceries through apps. I do enjoy that. I like not having to go to the grocery store, even though I hate shopping. I hate shopping for clothing, for stuff for the house, whatever it is. Grocery shopping was always my one thing that I could spend 2 hours doing. And anybody who came to do the grocery shopping with me, absolutely hated it. I go up and down every aisle. I would, get something and then go and put it back, or then find a good comparison, a similar product, and then go and put that back, and then change my mind in the moment. And again, now with these apps, I'm not doing the grocery store thing anymore. Yeah. So anyway, as for Christmas shopping, I haven't started. And I was talking with my hairstylist. I think I started to tell the story on the show last week, but we ran out of time. And she was saying that she starts her Christmas shopping back in January, basically, and she does it throughout the year. That takes a lot of planning, I think. And she said, no, it actually just takes when you're at the store and you happen to see a toy or whatever it is for your nephew or your niece, to get it right then and there and then bank it. Basically, whether their birthday is in April or for Christmas in December, whatever. But, at least get things in the moment when you see them and not do a special trip. Okay, I'm doing Christmas shopping today, and then you go. Because she said, you know what, then you're not feeling the burden of that Visa bill or whatever it is come January. And I thought that's really smart of you. Here I am, Winnipeg cheapskate, giving people tips on how to save money all year round, and I just hadn't thought to do that. Because, and you know what's funny, is that I wrote that book. Here's why. I'm going to out myself on this one. When I wrote the Cheapskate book, which is a bestseller, I was in the height of my radio shows, this was 7 or 8 years ago, and I'm still doing the radio shows, as I mentioned at the top, but we still get a whole bunch of free stuff sent to the office all the time. And so in that time, I was getting, Hasbro and all the different toy companies or electronics companies were all sending us things. There were a few years where I did not have to do Christmas shopping for quite some time. And so I think maybe that's kind of where I didn't talk about... I mentioned going to Christmas parties and dinners and things like that in the book. But yeah, regifting, okay, great. But if you have a platform, like we do with the radio, the newspaper, with the books, whatever, and you can get free crap sent to you, give it away. Here's the deal. A lot of times they're sending these things for us to promote on the radio. Unless there is a check attached to that, we are not promoting your product. I will tell you that right now. You can maybe fool these Instagram stars and quotation marks to, you'll send them something free and they'll post about it. And here's the deal. We are in business. We are not using our audience unless you pay us to do it. Wow, I just gave the Instagram crowd a smackdown. Oh, feisty today on the show. No, but I'm looking forward to Christmas this year because, your priorities shift as you get older. When you're a kid, you're excited about the presents, you're excited about maybe staying up late, you're excited that school's out, right? Well, and as you get older, you're kind of like, I'm actually looking forward to having a drink with my cousin because I know that my cousin will bring some sort of really cool whiskey or have, just something for us to enjoy. And it's a complete shift now where we're sitting on the couch and we're having a chat, we're having some laughs, and that's what we're going to do. We don't have kids, so let the kids run around in another room downstairs in the basement screaming so you don't have to listen to it. But let's just have some nice, fun, grown-up talk. And that's what I look forward to this time of the year. It is. That's my thing. Send me an email. Tell me what you're looking forward to. live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a computer beside me. Not the one that's in use right now, but the one beside me just all of a sudden sounds like a jet engine. So I'm going to try to turn it off as I'm talking to you here on the show. If I'm getting a little bit quieter in the microphone, it's because I'm leaning over and trying not to fall out of my chair. There we go. Did I turn it off? No, I just restarted it. There we go. No, I restarted it again. I'm going to tell you about my Christmas gift snoopery when I was a little kid because, like most kids, I would search the house for the Christmas gifts. And it's not shutting off. All right. I would search the house for the Christmas gifts. And we thankfully had a small house, so there weren't many places to hide the gifts, okay? So that's the thing. When you're a kid and you want to live in a mansion and a big house, no, that's going to work against you when you're snooping for Christmas presents because you're never going to find them. We had very limited places where my parents could hide the gifts. And so I was the snoop. And there was one time when I wanted the board game Family Feud, back when people played board games. You know the game show Family Feud. And the colors of the show were red and yellow. And I don't remember exactly what I took, but I remember slitting the wrapping paper just so, a perfect slit. And was able to go and say that something to the effect of like, well, Mom, I already know what it is. Let me just open this now. Like, why do I have to wait until Christmas? I know that it's Family Feud. I could see... Well, the only way that you could know that is by actually sort of lifting it up and kind of peering into the wrapping paper. If it was just a slit, I would have seen, like, red, and then that's it, right? But no, I took the opportunity. And I remember I blamed the dog on it, too. I said, well, his claw must have, he ripped... How would his claw rip, like, exactly in the middle of the wrapping? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you'd probably get the corner of it or something. Oh, no, this was right on the face of the box, right there. So that was my snooping way of trying to find out what I was getting for Christmas. And then again, in a roundabout way, not waiting until Christmas to play the game or use it, I would want to open it on December 12th or whatever it is and play then. So things have changed though as you get older, right? Like, why ruin the surprise for yourself? And now when you get gifts as an adult, it is a surprise, but the surprise genuinely is, am I going to like this or is it going to be a crappy present? Because that ends up having to be the whole fakery of it now, right? You've got to put on this face as though you're happy, as though you appreciate the gift, when it could just be terrible. As an adult, you know how to re-gift now, so it's not too bad. But in that moment, it's a little bit different as an adult now. And I don't really need anything. I don't want anything. So for me, the gifts are genuinely a surprise anyway. Like if I was going on and on about how I wanted some sort of a pan or a pot for the kitchen or something for the living room or for the wall, then I'd be interested. But now I'm just kind of like, I don't know what anybody's going to get me because I haven't told them what I want or what's on my mind, so it genuinely is going to be a surprise. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Thankfully, my parents give cash now if they don't know what you want. Yeah, that's true. That's my dog groaning beside me, in case you're wondering. He's being very disruptive today. We are going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to take a walk down memory lane when it comes to TV shows and music. My thoughts after last weekend coming up right here on The Scribble.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
JB here, back on The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to send an email about your thoughts on the show. You can email live at jbonair.com, live at jbonair.com. Oh, and this is where I've got to tell you to subscribe to the podcast if you like it, okay? Can you subscribe? Comment below. I think I do that mocking voice at least once a month now on the show, because they're always telling me, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. You know what? If you like it, you'll listen, you'll find it again, you know, no biggie. I'm very casual that way. Last weekend, I kind of hunkered down. It was the first really cold weekend here, and I had a whole bunch of stuff recorded on TV that I absolutely just wanted to watch. And I'm enjoying the old stuff now. I had probably about a good 5 hours of Three's Company, 6 or so hours of Seinfeld, and I didn't realize how many of the references to Seinfeld are still talked about, still mentioned, still relevant today. Shrinkage, the soup Nazi, puffy shirt. Like, there's just so many things that, you know, admittedly, Seinfeld was on when I was, I guess was I a teenager yet? I was young anyway. And so I knew the jokes, but I didn't quite get them. Same thing with Married with Children. That's another show that I used to laugh about, find really funny, and now I actually get the adult humor on it. A show that'll probably never come back, thanks to the whole insensitivity of today's, or overly sensitive, that's the word, overly sensitive society that we're in. But it was a great escape for a little while, for those the afternoons that I was just watching TV shows and not doing anything and just eating junk food and whatever it was. It was just nice to do that. And so I then at night, because I'm a party animal, was watching the PBS special about Mr. Rogers. Now, this was on about a year ago, I think. It was called It's You I Like, and it was celebrities talking about their memories of Mr. Rogers, and they showed the old clips. And again, I was much younger then when Seinfeld was on, but I was maybe 4 or 5 when Mr. Rogers was on. I didn't realize that he did the voices for all the puppets. I didn't realize that he made them. I didn't realize that he wrote the songs and the music, because you don't care about that as a kid. And then to kind of get that behind-the-scenes look and to hear about his life and the way he was, you're just kind of like, wow, here's somebody genuine. And I know that people would make fun and go, well, he's just this creepy guy who takes off his shoes and puts on a sweater and talks to children. There wasn't anything predatory about it, not like a Subway spokesperson, right? Gerald Fogel from Subway. There was just somebody who cares. And then they were even saying, like, they were watching when Mr. Rogers was talking with a kid who was playing the piano, and he was just sitting and staring at the child's face as this kid is like into his music. And I don't know, there was just something so cool about it. And, you know, again, it just takes you back to this childhood where I was in a bubble and totally forgot that winter was happening outside, Christmas is coming, and yeah, just in a zone, just in the bubble. And then I started to listen to some old school music, and it kind of takes me back. Now we're going to talk entertainment for a second here. We're heading into award show season very soon, and we've seen historically now that ratings for award shows are going down more and more and more. Some of them are dropping like 25% year over year. And I have a few theories about it, and I know I've talked about them here on this show, I guess at the start of award show season this year in 2019. That there's a few reasons why I don't think people are tuning in, or why I think people are not tuning in. I'm getting all grammatically correct today. Why they're not tuning into award shows. One is that when we're celebrating the song that you're nominated for, well, you've probably put out 2 or 3 new songs since then. So I've already long forgotten about that last song because, one, I listened to it over and over again on Spotify, YouTube, when I'm out walking the dogs and I'm on the treadmill, when I'm doing the laundry. I'm kidding, I don't do laundry. I've got a person for that. But we're sick of it, right? We're sick of the music because we heard it so long ago. It seems like such a distant memory at this point. Same thing with the movie that you're nominated in. You've already been in 2 new movies, and I watched that last January, and I don't even really remember it. But okay. So there's that. We've got this short-term memory. Secondly would be that we used to tune into award shows because that was one of our few chances to see celebrities casually. Well, not so the case anymore thanks to social media, right? I see you making breakfast now. I see you in the car going to the award show. I don't need to see you on the red carpet because I've already seen you. You've given me that personal interaction, well, personal in quotation marks. And so, okay, you're eating away at the award show ratings because you're spoiling it. I don't need to watch the award shows now because you've got your own channel on YouTube or on Instagram. So there you go. Secondly, now this was Nancy O'Dell. Remember her from Entertainment Tonight? Her theory was that we can watch things on the internet now. So I don't need to tune in at 8 p.m. on Sunday night because I'm going to be glued to my social media and somebody is going to end up ripping a 20-second or 30-second clip and tweeting it. So I don't have to watch the entire show. Don't need to watch it at all. Which of those schools of thought, train of thought, do you think is most accurate? Maybe it's a bit of all of them. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Now, on the subject of award shows, we're seeing more and more with these music ones that they're bringing in the old school artists, right? At the AMAs a few weeks ago, you had the Shania Twain medley, and then you had Toni Braxton perform the one song that she's known for, and then you had, I think it was Green Day. I don't remember. But anyway, I'm not helping to illustrate my own point. But basically, they're wanting older people to tune in, but that's also the music that people are loving. You know, when you think about who's going to be our legendary artist that we're still going to be talking about in 20 years if they're not making music anymore? Adele, sure. Beyonce, okay. But any of these fly-by-night people, you know, who don't really sing, they use computers to make their voice sound decent. I don't even want to say good because I don't like the way new music sounds these days. But, you know, give us some of the old school stuff. I think now you're starting to cater to the older crowd who's still watching television and the younger audience who's Netflixing and whatever like that. That's, you know, give the older people what they want. And I'm an older person now. I'm sorry to say. You know what? You used to make fun of people when they're old, right? When you're a kid. Oh, you're turning 30. You know, now that I'm 37, I'm good with that. My life is established. I've got a house. I've got a good career. I own this company. You know, like, things are okay. So if you want to call me old because I'm curled up with popcorn watching a Mr. Rogers documentary on Saturday night, have at her. I don't need yo shit. I got to remember, we're doing the podcast right now. I can swear. There's been a few times when we've done the radio show where I've almost let one out. And I swear, I mean, by the way. Oh. Why do I do this? Well, as you get older, you get gassy too, I guess, is one of the things. All right, you know what? Let's just let's take a break before this goes sideways.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Again, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your attention. A couple of weeks ago on the show, I mentioned that I had a mouse in the house, okay? And just to recap the story, I've got an update for you as well. I don't do grocery shopping as much anymore because of apps, right? Apps just let me order stuff and have it shipped to me, as I mentioned. And so my mom had called me a couple of weeks ago to go grocery shopping, and I was like, ugh, all right, fine. So I go grocery shopping, but I had to get little canvas, the reusable shopping bags from one of the cupboards in the kitchen. And when I go there, I open the cupboard, and there was a paper bag, a couple of paper bags in there from the liquor store, and they were shredded. And I just, didn't really quite think anything of it at the time. And then it hit me because I saw like a bunch of basically kind of like black rice. And then I was like, okay, I get it. There's some sort of a pest. There's some sort of a nuisance in my cupboard. Which then, and I'm not scared of animals, so it's not like I was like, ew. I didn't know what it was, and I'm sitting there going, I'm not killing this thing, whatever it is. So we've got to find a humane way to get it out of the house. Okay? And so then, I'm talking with my mom, and she's lecturing me, doing the mom thing. Well, they carry disease. You're going to get, the house is going to be filthy. I'm never coming over again. Well, good. It's a win-win, right? Or a lose on the disease, a win on mom never coming over again. But it was kind of like, there's got to be a way to humanely catch these things and let them go. Well, sure enough, there's these little traps that I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know the ins and outs, but yeah, basically they go in through the little doorway like you see on Tom and Jerry, and then it locks them in, and then you can go and take this little trap outside and release them. And that was my hope. Even though it's winter, I'm going to take it down the lane, and I'm going to open it up, and it's going to go run into somebody else's garage or somebody else's property, and not mine anymore. And a few days go by, and there's nothing. There's no more little mouse poop. There's no shredding. And also, too, by the way, there in another cupboard, 2 cupboards down, there was the big bag of dog food, and there was a hole in that. But I just thought that was because I dragged this bag in and out of the cupboard all the time, that it got stuck on the hinge, or I just ripped it as I was pulling it. Oh no, but there's an actual hole, a gaping hole now. So a couple of days go by, and there's nothing. And I got very discouraged. So I think the story that I told you on the show here was that I'm the only person who's like, aw, I didn't get a mouse to catch and release it. Most people be like, yes, it's gone, good, I don't have to worry about it, sayonara. Well, I was disappointed that I didn't have a mouse anymore. Well, come to find out, maybe about a week or so, I come home, the dogs are going crazy, they're doing the whole wild, nice to see you thing, it's been so long we haven't seen you, and when it gets a little bit quieter, I kind of hear like this chirping, almost like a squealy bird chirpy kind of a thing. And I was like, well, it's nighttime, so birds aren't out doing that right now. And then I realized, I think I got one. And I go into the cupboard where the dog food is. The trap was sort of at the back. And I as I'm getting closer, I'm like, wait a second, I don't know what I'm about to see here, because if it was just trapped in a box, it wouldn't be making this kind of noise, I would think, right? It's just going to quietly kind of hang out. And I got nervous. I didn't open the door. I was like, oh, okay, wait, the cupboard door. I don't want to go. I don't want to see this now, actually. I don't want to know what's happening. I don't want to see what it is. And then I start to panic, going, wait a second, it could be in trouble. What if something is happening to it? Because my fear was that I'm going to open the door, and this thing is going to come running out. Like on National Lampoon's Christmas, and the dog is running through the house chasing after, I think it was the squirrel in the Christmas tree. That was my thought, is that I'm all of a sudden going to have these 2 dogs as I'm opening the door. This thing is going to pop out and chases on. And not that the dogs would kill it, they would just chase it around. And so I'm freaking out going, oh my God, I don't want to open this. I don't want to see it. I want to know what's going on. But then at the same time, it sounds like there's something wrong. But what am I going to do? Come to find out, this humane trap, somehow, and I don't even know how this is even possible, because I think that you've got the little mouse has to be in like fully. It's got to trigger something to then close the door. Somehow, maybe this is just a miracle. Somehow, the door kind of snapped. It was kind of shut on the mouse. And the thing clearly wasn't dead and was squealing. And there was a little bit of its insides, I guess you'd say, had come out of its butt. And I was just like, oh my God, now I'm in a panic because this thing is alive. And, you know, like I didn't know what to do. I was in a panic. And this would be the time where you call your spouse, you call your husband, you call your parents, you call somebody. Because I'm still saying I'm not killing this thing. I can't kill it. But then it's like, well, wait a second, it's suffering. So then people are like, oh my God. So this is where the story kind of stops. I'm not telling you what I did to it. But I basically kind of just let it freeze outside. Well, there you go. I'm telling you the story now. I was in a panic. I'm like, I don't know. There's no way that I'm like taking my shoe and stomping on this thing. I'm not doing that. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So I kind of just froze him. I kind of just, yeah. And I mean, I feel really shitty telling the story. And this was an unfortunate incident that, again, my understanding of how this trap works is that it's supposed to be harmless, but I guess it was just a fluke that somehow it triggered it. It snapped on this mouse, and it was a baby, and I felt, terrible about that. I honestly did actually have a nightmare that night, and I don't take killing something like that lightly. And I realize this is where people are going to make fun and go, "Oh my God, it's a little mouse, whatever." But it's still a living thing. At the end of the day, it was just trying to find somewhere warm to be. It was trying to find some food to eat, and so I feel extreme guilt that I killed a mouse. I know. And I'm not the first person to do it. And, it's not that I'm thinking that PETA is going to be, banging down my door and coming to get me. But I feel really crummy about it. I do. And that's just the kind of person I am. And one of the first things that I told my mom, which I believe I mentioned on the show last time, was that I'm not going to kill it. I'm not going to allow it, take over my house, but I'm not killing it. There's got to be a way. If I've got to call a company and it costs me however much to get this little mouse out of my house still alive, I'll do that. So, yeah, that's just me. Now I'm feeling depressed again talking about the dead mouse. Let's take a break. We'll be back on the Scribble.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
I love it. Thank you, Bonnie. They just brought me a glass of eggnog. And so one more quick Christmas story as we've got a little under 3 minutes to go on the show. I went to the liquor store. Shockingly, I know. I was just because I talked about the paper bag that I had in my cupboard from the liquor store. So it just reminded me that I bought this jar. It was like a glass jar. It looked like a whiskey bottle of eggnog. And it was eggnog and it had bourbon and a couple other things in it. $20-something for the bottle. But again, there's just something like, okay, this is going to be good. I'll pay that premium price for it. Which again, I'm Winnipeg cheapskate, so I'm not buying expensive booze usually. But I guess I was just in that mood, so I went and I got it. And I come home, and I realized that this bottle, that's, you're a hillbilly when you call it a jar. This bourbon eggnog, depending on how much you fill your glass, was basically about 3 glasses. For $20-something. And so I think about it going, you know what? I could have bought the actual carton of eggnog and then, small bottles of this booze for much cheaper and had more booze left over to then have with other drinks. But again, there was just something about, I'll pay the $20-something for this eggnog. And it was really good. And so I don't think that there's actual alcohol in this one that Bonnie gave me. Is there, Bon? No. Oh, there can be. Good. Well, see what? We're almost wrapping up the show, so I will go and dive into our liquor cabinet, see what we've got. But feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. Tell me what you drink during the holidays. Live at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com. All right. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. We've got 45 seconds left. Oh, my cripes. I don't know what I'm going to say. And I didn't like rum and eggnog until a couple of years ago. My brother and sister-in-law bought me one of those little moose mugs, like from National Lampoon's Vacation. And my sister-in-law had one, and I had one. And we were having eggnog, and she's like, "Oh, put spiced rum or whatever in it." And I was like, "Oh, I don't like it with booze. I like eggnog just like that." And wouldn't you know it, she convinced me to have it. So it's now one of my holiday favorites. And I remember actually my uncle making a drink years ago at Christmas, and I had a sip of it. Maybe I was a teenager and I wasn't much of a drinker at the time, but yeah, I just didn't like it. Did not like it. Now I'm in love. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,